Hi, this is Chris with Creations by Chris, and this is part 2 of my video, how to design and create a Sharara pants outfit from a sari. When we left off, I had created the pants. In this part, I will show you how I created special sleeves, add embellishments, and give the garment shape. So please come along with me as I continue my Sharara pants. Now these are pattern pieces for a sleeve that I sold on Pinterest, and the pieces are the upper and the right piece of the sleeve, which is actually split in half, and then there's 3 portions that's in the center that comes down in a point. And so what I did is I used a paper bag and I sketched out the sleeve on the paper bag and made my own pattern. One of the things I did is measure the girth of my arm around to see how many inches around my arm that I would need in order to make this sleeve so that it would fit me. And what I'll do later on, I'll show you as I'm putting this together how the parts fall in place. Huh?
You sew.
I'm sewing the points for the sleeves for the blouse I'm making for my Indian inspired blouse.
Good enough. Good enough.
Did you get enough? So as I said before, what we've done is that we've made our points and we're able to turn them over. And one tool I like to use is called a point turner. What's nice about it, if you place it inside the fabric where you want the point and you press it through, and what it does, it gives you a really nice sharp point. Okay, when it's nice and pressed, this is what it'll look like. And this is all 3 of the points. 1, 2, 3. It's all 3 pieces, and they're not connected yet. They're all separate. Okay, here I've sewn the 2 right sides together. This is the wrong side, and this is the upper part of the sleeve. And it's sewn around on the edges. And now I'm going to flip it inside out like this. And then we're going to press it down. And this is the right side of the sleeve, and then there's a left side of the sleeve also. And we're going to be doing the same thing for all 4 pieces. And then I'll place them on the table so you can see exactly how they fit together. Here I'm sewing the piping on the upper sleeves. Okay, so here we've assembled all the pieces. These were the 3 point pieces that we assembled, and we stitched them straight down the center. And then we did the left part of the sleeve as well as the right. And what we did was hand sew piping on the outer edge. Gives it a nice clean finish. And I decided to take it one step further. I added the sheer piece below the sleeve also. And what we're going to be doing is putting a piece of an applique across the lower part of the sleeve as well. And here I'm working on a blouse, but the fabric is very lightweight, and I plan to have a lot of embellishments in the front. And this is a hack that you can do to make that fabric a little bit more sturdier so that when you do place your embellishments on the front part of it, it doesn't pull forward. As I mentioned before, this fabric is Georgette, and it's very lightweight fabric, and it needs to be lined. And this part of the portion here is the fabric that is being lined with, but it's lightweight also. But because we're going to be doing embellishments on the front of this blouse, what we did, we used some fusible interfacing. And the fusible interfacing is interfacing that can be ironed onto your fabric. Well, we've ironed that up on the front part, in the neckline area, that gives it, makes it a little bit more sturdier, but it's not going to make it stiff. And then this way you can add your embellishments on your blouse and it'll stay in place and it won't pull forward. So what we've done here, we've taken the wrong side of the outer fabric and we pinned it against the lining that's been fused already. And what we're going to do is that we're going to sew it around the neck piece because we're treating this as though it's one piece of fabric. And we're going to sew the neck area and we're going to flip it inside out. And I'll show you when that's done. Okay, so what we've done here so far, we've taken the fusible lining and we fused it or pressed it onto the lining on the front part, and then we've sewn the shoulders down and we flipped it inside out. Okay, so this is what the front looks like. Here is the back, and all we did was pin the dots in place, and then we'll sew the dots in. And that's the dots for the back as well as the dots in the front. And another thing we can still do at this point too is that we can take another lining and place it inside out so you won't see any of the fusible facing. Okay, this is a lace applique that I made for the top part of this blouse. And I'm giving you the idea of what, this is several pieces that I actually put together to make this particular applique. Okay, so what we've done here is that we pinned in the sleeves onto the wrong side of the garment. And you see the pins are here. And what we did, we matched up the underseam to the side seam of the sleeve. So that way we know everything will fit in correctly. But I'll show you what it looks like while it's pinned in. Okay, so you can see here the sleeve is pinned in. And notice the arrows that's on the main seam of the upper shoulder. It's matched up with the upper shoulder seam here also. So at this point what we're going to do is sew this sleeve in. It's just pinned at the moment. We're going to sew it in now. So here we'll be sewing the sleeve in. And what I'll do, my husband always asks me, how do I sew without hitting the needles? Well, it's a hand and foot coordination. You pull the needles out as you go. Okay, so you see now that the sleeves are sewn in, and it still is on the wrong side, that the edges look a bit ragged. We're not going to leave it like this. There's two things you can do. You can either take bias trim and you can sew it over top of it to give it a nice clean finish. Or, in this case, because I have a serger, I'm going to serge along these edges. That's going to clean it all up and give it a nice, neat look. Thank you for watching. This has been Chris with Creations by Chris. And please be sure to subscribe so you can see the final unveiling of the completed garment. And if you want to easily see the garment again, give the video a thumbs up.